Grand rising and welcome to the Daily Huddle. You ever have those moments where you feel like your glasses are crooked? Okay, anyway, that was just a little human moment. Welcome to the Huddle. My name is Steele Greye, and today it's going to be host speaking to host. I love it. I love it when these situations happen. And of course, I could not introduce this woman without letting you know a little bit about who she is. And then we will get into our topic. Ingrid, please, if you would, give us this beautiful bio.
Where is the bio located?
On the Facebook page where the topic is for Monica Ogando.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was going to be here.
Okay, I got it. I got you. Don't worry. Dr. Monica Ogando is the CEO and the founder of the award-winning firm CEO Mastery, an executive and leadership development firm working with exceptional leaders who want to elevate their brand position, engage their people, and increase profits while honoring their true purpose. In addition to Dr. Ogando's success with CEO Mastery, she took our first company to rank as one of Inc.'s 500 fastest growing private companies in the United States. She is the author of 3 books, twice a TEDx speaker, and keynotes in the areas of leadership, marketing, and communication, with a background in finance and holding 2 doctorates, psychology, comparative religious. Dr. Monica has become a foremost authority in building a sustainable, leveraged, and profitable enterprises. Please welcome to Daily Huddle, once again, one of our favorites, Dr. Monica Ogando. How are you?
You gotta have the applause with a background noise in the background. Thank you for introducing me, and I'm glad to be here, Chase. We love when we can do like the Law and Order crossover episodes, right?
Yeah. So the person, whoever's talking behind you, is overshadowing you. I don't know how we can fix that. It's kind of a weird thing. Now, of course, now they're not talking, right? Of course. Right when you were talking, they start talking. It's crazy. Anyhow, we do it the best way we can. We'll keep moving. So the topic today, and I like that we're coming on and doing this right up front and not kind of announcing it ahead of time, because it gives people more time to marinate in it when they feel it right away. And we're going to speak about, the actual title is The Issues Are in the Tissues. Just that one sentence right there, right? And how our bodies or our belief systems show up in our bodies or outwardly, right? So when we speak about this concept, and it's great that we're talking about this, because last presentation that I did, I talked about how people need to cry more. People need to release more. Let it happen. Let it out. Do not hold it in, which sounds so normal and easy. Like, hey, drink some more water, get some exercise, take care of yourself when you say that sentence. And what I would like you to do is kind of unpack your brand of what this means to you and how the layman person can go about executing it.
Okay, so first I have to give a disclaimer that I am at the Sky Club at the airport. So that's where the background noise is, because as you said, she keynotes in the areas of, I'm about to go to a keynote. So yeah, I'm in the middle of travel. So please excuse me ahead of time for the background noise. And thank you for tolerating my humanity. Now, as far as my own personal story on this, some of you that have been part of the family, the Daily Huddle family, know that I am a cancer survivor. And in my early 20s, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cervical cancer and given about a year to live. And so this idea of the issues are in the tissues is very near and dear to my heart, because I know that the way that I healed cancer and that it has never returned since has been because I healed the beliefs around femininity and womanhood and my relationship with my mother that were associated with cervical cancer. Right? I was living in South Florida at the time, and I was always at the beach, but it wasn't skin cancer. I speak for a living, but it wasn't throat cancer. I was very irresponsible with my I wore contact lenses at the time until I had eye surgery. And it wasn't eye cancer. Of all the cancers in the world, it was cervical cancer. And that was very significant for me in terms of moving through the lessons of what it means to be a woman, what it means to be a mother, a sister, what it means to be a daughter to that particular woman that birthed me in that relationship. And so this is very near and dear to my heart because I know firsthand that when I don't release, when I don't heal, when I don't integrate those beliefs, they come out. We leak energy. We are supposed to be energy conduits. And to the degree that we are not expressing energy and releasing energy, then it gets stuck in our cellular memory and then it expresses in either disease or in some other level of toxicity.
Right. I mean, that all makes perfect sense to me. The question I have for you is, during the time when all these things were happening and all this activity was going on and you were noticing all these things, were you in a space of like meditation or walking or grounding? Like, were you doing any of those things during that time, or nothing more so than your everyday life? So would you say that out of this particular time, these things were born out of that? Like, you started to do that more?
Yeah. I didn't do any of that stuff. I knew about it conceptually. It's like, oh, yeah, this is good for you, but you never do it. And being faced with my own mortality was like, well, is you is or is you ain't my baby. So I was able to actually, walk the talk from there. And it's so interesting to me that we typically don't get committed and get serious about something until the stakes are high enough to spur us into action. And that's what happened with me, that it was like, oh, so either take your health seriously or die. That was the stakes for me at that point. And it worked, right? Because here it is 20 something years later and I'm healthy as a whistle, cancer free, and also very aware of what it takes to honor the temple that is my body. And I was just commenting, I have a personal trainer and I eat healthy foods and I drink a gallon of water. And now those practices are like a course for me. But back then it used to be a stretch. And it took a minute to be consistent with it in order for it to make a difference. I fasted for 40 days and then ate raw foods for 60 days. And I repeated that cycle 3 times for the course of a year. So that when I went back to my oncologist said, oh, congratulations, your cancer is in remission. And I remember kind of grinning at him and saying, excuse me, this is not my cancer. We don't have a relationship like that.
It's not my cancer.
We don't go together like that. And secondly, remission means it'll be right back and this thing is gone. Like, I know eventually I will die, but not from this and not today, Jesus. So I got very clear about what declaration am I for myself and for my own condition being senior to my circumstances, so that I can operate from that position and not like a goal. I got really clear that, part of the conversation around issues are in the tissues is that some of the conditions that we have in our lives are because we speak them into existence, sometimes unconsciously. The way that we complain, the way that we're like, oh, great, now, blah, blah, blah. And it's like you expect calamity. And so when you speak those things into existence and then they exist, don't act surprised. You know the law, right? And so knowing the law is a way to keep people accountable, but it's also a way to move through the world with a certain level of, if not mastery, then certainly proficiency, so that you can know that it's like, oh, yeah, I've been talking a lot about, nothing ever works out for me. So when nothing ever works out for me, congratulations, your prayer was answered. Now, if you want a different prayer to be answered, say something else. You know what I mean?
Right. I am definitely fascinated, and thank you for using the word calamity. I love that word. I'm gonna do a podcast today called "Expecting Calamity" in your honor, not in your direction. I want no calamity in your direction, but you understand what I'm saying. I constantly speak to people about, why would you say that? I don't understand. Why would you put that into motion? I was talking to somebody the other day and they were talking about, the new thing is that men in their 50s, like, these are the golden years for us. These are our final years. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, didn't you see that Bill Burr concert where he said, and I was like, hold on a second. And I went through this whole thing with him. He's like, I knew you weren't going to let me get away with that. And I was like, but why? Why don't we just live? Like, why can't we just? So what I want to ask you is that you're like the second or third person that I know that pushed cancer to the side. And I think your story is wonderful. And I'm looking at you, look healthier. I think you look the healthiest now than you've ever looked since I've known you, like, which is great. So whatever you're doing, obviously it's working. And when people, we hear it time and time and time again, when people go back to the roots, they were already there, but they go back to the roots, eating more apples and grapes and bananas and walking and water and stretching and yoga. Oh my God. Wow. It's like, but that's not really something over the top. It's here for us. But we get so distracted with how things are structured in our world. You know, the quick fix lunch, the quick this is going to give you this. And I think the marketing of it all, that's what they want. They want us to be there so they can make millions. And then you go to the doctor and they say, well, you need this and this and this and this. They're like, what? So I definitely want to compliment you on moving into that other direction. And I feel like now where you are, of course, I get the luxury of seeing you several times a week on the screen. So I see, and I have seen, you know, you were always very beautiful and very vibrant. But even since I've known you, I've seen you get healthier, which I think is fascinating visually. And I want to ask you, what do you think your strongest kind of go-to has been? Is it meditation? Is it journaling? Is it water? Is it fasting? Like, what is the thing where you're like, okay, this has been my thing?
Well,
If there
first,
is one thing.
I got divorced. That's the first thing.
Mental stuff is
Toxicity.
important.
Yeah, leave toxicity. That's the first thing. The second thing is that, you know, there's a scene, you know, that I always use movies as analogies. Oh, good Lord. Did you hear that? Okay. There's a scene in a movie called The Runaway Bride, where she's always eating her eggs like her partner eats her eggs. And then she meets Richard Gere. And he says, how do you like your eggs? And she's like, I'll have them however you're having them. Like, no. How do you like your eggs? So he takes her out to this brunch place and puts like this buffet of like scrambled eggs and over easy eggs, hard boiled, and so she can taste it all. And so that she can decide for herself how she likes her. I think everybody needs the space, the clearing in their lives so that they can hear their own inner voice, so that they can decide for themselves, what does it feel like for me to be grounded in myself, independent of relationship, of circumstance, of job, of status, of money, etc. Like, where do I sit when I'm in my throne? And I was so thankful that I've been creating that space over the last 18 months or so, almost 2 years, because it felt like I was being thrown from pillar to post. You know, I had a lot of death in my family. My father passed away. I got divorced. There was a lot of tumultuous things happening outside of me. And eventually I just kind of like had to close my eyes and just hear myself breathing, to know that it's like, right now, if you just tune into yourself, everything is okay. And the only thing that you're actually reacting to is the thought you have about the thing that's happening. You're not reacting to the thing happening. You're reacting to the thought you have about the thing that's happening. The thought you have is that this is bad, or that this means disaster, or that this means you're going to be alone for the rest of your life, or that you've been rejected, or you've been abandoned, or blah, blah, blah. You're reacting to that thought. You can have a different thought. And this is why, even though the fact hasn't changed, I did in fact get divorced, I did in fact have cancer, but because I have a different thought about it, then that shows up differently for me, right? At the beginning, it was like a disaster. Now I understand that it was an answered prayer that came in different clothes than what I was expecting. I was praying for liberation. I was praying for certainty. I was praying for clean space. I didn't know that that's going to look like, okay, well, then you have to end that relationship. I didn't know that that's what it meant. Because if you get, and this is why one of the reasons why I say when I coach people, the how is none of your business. is because if you knew the how of how your miracles came through, you probably wouldn't approve them.
Yeah, you'd be like, no, I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing it. Right. No. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mute myself again because now they're starting to scream.
Got it. So when you were talking, I was thinking about the presentation that I did last week and how I spoke about crying and how much I've cried over the last 3 years in the most cleansing way. Like at first I'm like, God, I want to stop this. This is not fun. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, this is good. This is like drinking some warm tea. Let's let it happen. Relax, put your ego aside and whatever macho thing you're doing right now and let it be. Do you find that since your divorce and the changing of your lifestyle and geography and so on and so forth, that you have allowed yourself to cry when necessary? Is that part of your healing process?
Oh my God, yes.
That face says it all.
Yes. And I think it's so important to emote in general.
Exactly. Well
I
said.
remember in some time ago, I was visiting my sister, and she has 2 young sons. Her sons are now 11 and 8. Back then, they were a lot younger. My children are grown. Like my children have children. That's how old they are.
Right.
And my father was still alive. And I remember visiting with them, and somebody was screaming. They were having some kind of tantrum in the game room. And my father goes in there to try to establish some order and set some peace or whatever. And he said to one of my nephews in Spanish, "Pero qué te pasa?" And I heard it differently because usually when you translate "qué te pasa" in English, we always say, "What's wrong with you?" Or "What's the
what's
matter
going
with you?"
on or what's passing through or whatever.
Well, I heard it literally. I heard it like, "What's passing through you?" And so it allowed me to reframe my relationship to emotions in that moment, because I was like, oh, I don't have to sit in it. I don't have to dwell in it. And I certainly don't have to get drowned by it. I could just let my emotions pass through me, just like clouds pass through the sky. The sky remains the sky, independent of how many clouds it has in it, whether it's dark or, the sun is out or not. The sky remains the sky. And you can remain yourself, Monica, regardless of the circumstances or the emotions that are passing through, whatever. You could actually just let yourself have the experience without becoming the experience. And so I could have sadness and not I am sad. I could have anger and not I am angry. I could have despair and not I am despairing of a particular moment. I can experience rejection and not feel rejected. And so, or not feel like I am rejected. And that's an important distinction. I think the more that we insert the nuance of you authoring your experience, you having an experience versus being the experience, the more you get connected to your own authorship, right? Because if you have an experience, you could have another. If you have experience A, you can have
other.
another.
I've never heard that before. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Other.
Right.
That
so
makes
then it's
total
like,
sense.
and I spent a lot of time saying to myself, okay, what would you rather feel? What would you rather think? How would you rather approach this? Right. And especially in the moments when you feel almost helpless, when you feel like I have no choice. Like this is what it is. Like, there's no denying. You're asking me to be in denial about blah, blah, blah. No, not in denial. Sometimes we cannot change our circumstances, but we certainly can change our position around it. And so I can't do anything about this divorce. I would rather it not happen. But what would you rather feel about it? I would rather feel empowered. I would rather feel liberated. I would rather feel like this is the beginning of a great new chapter, not the end of, whatever the case may be. I mean, although it is an end, but it doesn't have to be the end of everything. It doesn't have to be the end of your happiness. It doesn't have to be the end of your love.
Right.
And so for me, I spent a lot of time working on my nuance, and my nuances, my distinctions, and the way that I speak about my reality. Because I may not be able to change my circumstances, but when I change my language around it, then I experience it differently.
Wow. So much was just said in that little area that affected me personally. And I just appreciate the way, first and foremost, you broke that word up because it means so much. Wow. Like I think about that all the time. different experiences. I'm a curious soul. Imagine that as an Aries. And I wander around and I'm always looking for new things in the same city that I'm in, right? And that helps me mentally as well move past certain things, because when the body is giving you signals, specifically crying, I keep bringing that up because that's specifically something that I've dealt with. And I'm like, wow, you never used to cry like this before. Something's getting out of you. Let it be. You shouldn't have held all that stuff in. That's the only way it could come out, right? And
That's the only way it could
so
come out.
powerful.
There are some experiences that transcend language.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why, like, if you've seen people work out, sometimes they're grunting through certain things. They're not saying like, "Oh, this feels blah blah blah." They're not speaking it because language is very much a way to stay connected to your mind state, right? But your feeling state doesn't have words.
Right.
The first language that we speak as soon as we're born is energy. Energy doesn't have language; it has sensation, and so that's why you can. Sometimes there have been times when, in order for me to process my anger, I just have to turn on the music and just dance, because there's no language around it. Like, I just have to let my body speak it instead of my mouth, instead of my linguistic or my cognitive skills. And so when you allow yourself the opportunity to speak the multiple languages that you already have access to, including energy, including body sensations, now you become much more proficient in articulating with words what you're experiencing, because you've allowed yourself to move through the different states of being around you. Yeah? And so what that looks like is crying, and it looks like punching a pillow, or don't punch a face, okay? I know how some of y'all are. Don't punch your face, punch a pillow, or go work out, go running, right? Sit under your shower and cry as the water is, going washing over your whole body. Let it also wash over your tears. Wash dishes, move through the elements, right? So lighting a candle accesses the fire element. Grounding or sometimes gardening moves through the earth element. Crying or taking a shower or going swimming moves through the water element. So when you use the elements like that, then you can transcend that experience, and you can alchemize it into moving through the energy instead of letting the energy drown you.
You are here for a reason. My goodness. I want to know if anyone has anything to add to this conversation. The time has gone by so quickly. Goodness gracious. Would anyone like to say anything at all? This is a very serious topic that I'm sure we can do another episode on.
Grand rising, everyone. Grand rising. Oh my goodness.
I know.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm telling you, both of you guys make me rise this morning with a whole lot of food for thought. And why I say that is because I'm into my 24th day of my fast. And I am going through a whole lot of challenge. And it's challenge that I can face. It's challenge that I can punch. It's challenge that is more a spiritual challenge and energy that now that I'm listening to both of you guys, I was like, okay, you know what? This is also surpass. This also surpass. And I'm not even counting down the days them. It's just the mindfulness of accepting what the universe and what my ancestors is making me endure for going through this journey. And Dr. Monica, my dear sister, I can relate to a lot of stuff when you say, ¿Qué te pasa? What is going on? Yeah. What is going through me? And what is going through me is the growth of spirituality and connection to source, connection to my soul. It's just so powerful that I know that every year I go through my 40 days is a different 40 days every year. But the journey and the energy that I can surpass and understand what's going on, it's amazing. So you all really give me some, I'm telling you, I dance in the morning, I get up and at night I say, oh, I'm going into my sauna and soak my freaking energy. Telling you guys, thank you so much. I'm on the right path. I am on the right path, and I don't want to get off of it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for supporting me and really indirectly. You don't even know that you're supporting me, but you're giving me a lot of energy to finish this 40 days. Thank you. Thank you.
So powerful, that voice, Rashida. I think that's why I met you. When you started talking to me, I was like, golly, wow, holy cow. Yeah, let's talk about everything. Man, thank you for that comment. I appreciate you. Can somebody give me a time check? I feel like we're way over, and I just think this is a great conversation.
We have 1 more minute.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible.
Look at that. Look at that. I don't know if he dropped off or if he's coming back on, etc. But I want to just thank you all for supporting us, for supporting the Daily Huddle, for continuing to show up to this powerful family. Thank you for being in the space of this conversation and put into practice some of the things that we talked about today. Oh, there he is. He's coming in. I was just hopefully giving you some things to think about for yourself, for your own journey, and an opportunity to let your life be a testimony to what you have experienced and where you are headed. Chase, I was just finishing up, so I was like, oh, I don't know what happened to him, but here we
so
are.
so lovely of you. I appreciate you. I have so much I want to say. I'm going to curtail it for right now because it will make us go over. Well, let me just end with the tenets. We'll do that. Please, everyone, just live out loud today. Love more than you felt you've had in the past. Laugh as much as possible. Find something to laugh about. Go on YouTube and let your body flow through some laughter, please. Please drink some more water, because water is just that cleansing thing that gets everything fluid in us and lets everything pass through us. ¿Qué te pasa? And let us please move our bodies, give more of ourselves to each other, eat more plant-based, because we just want our bodies to cleanse. There's so much toxicity in the world right now. So many people who are struggling. So many people don't know which way to go. And if you could be that light for someone, please be it. Please, right? Sleep a little bit more. Man, I'm speaking to myself when I say that because I have this lizard brain that won't stop. I need to sleep some more. My goodness. And please check yourself before you wreck yourself, because it's really important. And you will feel the difference. If you come here and be with us every day, you'll know how we flow, what we do. And incidentally, tomorrow I will be stepping in for the lovely Monica Oganda. I will do the best I can to fill those shoes. It's the big shoes right there. But I'm going to have a great topic for you tomorrow as well. So please join me tomorrow. And I appreciate you. Thank you, Dr. Monica Oganda. If you want to say anything else on our outro.
You, Chase. Thank you for always being a source of strength and inspiration. We
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody. On purpose. You matter. Go out there and spread your magic. Thank you so much. Peace.